Evet. Ya, e, şeyin şu anda. Şu anda indiriyorum. Hatta inmiş bile. Yani 1,5 GB bir oyun. Her Story. Ne olduğu hakkında hiçbir bilgim yok. Ne yapıyor hiçbir bilgim yok. Ne izleyeceğiz hiçbir bilgim yok. Tamamen sürpriz. Sadece üzerine gelin ve tıklayın dedi. Hem de hani bu tarz oyunlar hani real, yani gerçek oyuncuların oynadığı oyuncular, yani oyunlar hoşuma gidiyor. Deneyeceğiz. Umarım doğru hazırlamışımdır yayını. İngilizceniz yoksa zorlanırsınız muhtemelen. O yüzden gidin öğrenin amına koyayım yani. Bu kadar basit. İngilizceniz yoksa öğrenin. Olay bundan ibaret ya. Abi hala İngilizce bilmeyen var bak. Ne kadar zor olabilir ya. Gidiyorsun kursa yazılıyorsun. Tamam mı? Biraz çaba gösteriyorsun, öğrenmek istiyorsun. Gerisi geliyor yani. Muhtemelen fazla konuşamayacağım. Kafam yarılmış. Güzelmiş. İnceleyelim. Login enter query access search term murder. Search yapmış mıyız? Bakalım. Murder. Yani bir kadın. Evet. Bu arada bayağı sevdiğim bir oyun. Buna benzer bir oyun oynadım. Simulacra diye. O da bayağı iyiydi. Bulabilirsiniz. Yayınların bir tanesindeydi ama hangisindeydi hatırlamıyorum yani. Path of Exile'la başladım sanırım. Sonra Simulacra'ya geçtim. Bayağı 6 saatlik bir yayındı yani. Peki şu an izlemesem, kapatsam ne olur? Belki de bulamam. Ne bu Corners? Sonra bakarız ya. Ne oldu lan? Allah kahretsin, oyundan çık. Yani ben alttaki bazı şeylere bakmak istiyorum belki. Read me text. Ha, okuyabiliriz. Bu kadar şey kim okur? Ben işsiz birisi okumak istiyorum. Really? Bu hoşuma gitti. Tamam, bu kadarını okurum. Ha, bu database'miş. Tamam. Her şey hani çalışıyor görünüyor. Orijinal teyplerden almış 1999'dan. Tamam mı? Mod bal ne demek bilmiyorum, o yüzden hiçbir anlam ifade etmedi bu kelime. Şok etti gibi bir şey olsa gerek. Neyse. Kimse buna dokunmadı ta ki, tamam mı? Okay, thank you. Rubbish fit. Tamam, bakmayacağım. İnceleyeceğim ama umarım buradan başlıyordur. Murder dedik. Victim miydi diyelim. Bunu da araştıralım. Victim yok şu anda. Victim var mı peki? Yorum yazıyorlar. Tamam, dinliyorum. 11 saniye.
You think it's murder? But mean, clearly it's murder. What can I do to help?
Orada kadın tam benim tipim ya. Okay. 12 saniye.
Yeah, that's me. But February, I mean, that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder?
Gerçek görüntülerdense enteresan böyle ya. 7 saniye.
I didn't murder Simon. You've got it wrong. You've got the wrong person.
Ya muhtemelen bak bu kadın ya şizofreni muhtemelen. Ve katil olabilir. Yani bunu inceleyeceğiz. Biraz.
I'd like to speak to a lawyer now.
Yani değişik bir gülüş var.
I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other. Just that. Stories.
Ya fikrim kesinlikle hani bu katil olabilecek bir tip. Ya sonra ne yapacağız? Yani tam murder yazdık. Yok. Suspicious yazabileceğiz mi acaba? G O. Ha buradan bir şey. Ha. Ha. Şimdi okuyabiliriz. Ay ay ay ay. Tekrar okurdum ya. Biraz deneyelim yani bir şeyler yazmayı. Çıkmadı. Hiçbir şey yazamıyorum ki. Bu aşırı yani bir yol göstermesi lazım bize ya. Böyle yazarak olmaz yani. Tamam, videolardan bakacağız. Neydi? Murder mıydı? User tag blank. Blank yazalım. Şimdi tamam, videodan bir şey yakalamaya çalışalım, onu aratalım.
You think it's murder?
Burada bir şey yoktu. Simon diye bir şey diyordu ya. Tamam mı?
Yeah, that's me. But February, I mean, that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder?
Simon yazalım. Nasıl olmaz ki ya? Böyle bunlar mı geçiyordu? Dedik mi hepsi? Aa, bunu izlememişiz. Bakalım ne...
Well, I don't know. I probably had to pop out and get something, that's why I was speeding. And that wouldn't have been noted on my timesheet. But I really can't remember back to February.
February hiç hatırlamıyorum. Speed ile alakalı bir şey var. Merak ettim. Okay. Car desek. Wow. Doğru yerdeyiz sanki. Bilmiyorum.
Yes, there's a car that we share, a Cavalier, and a van he uses for work. It's owned by Eric, but we look after it. Both of them are there now, parked in the street. I'm not sure about the keys for the van. I can look for you when I get back.
Hepsini izlemeli miyim ya? Yani tamam, Car Search Story'ye geliyor mu? Biraz saçmalık Search Story. Ha, tamam. Tamam. 12 tane Car. Geri kalanı nasıl görüyorum? Access limited first. Okay, tamam.
I wasn't in the house all of Friday night. After the argument, after Simon left, I left too. I was upset and I wanted to get away. So I took the car.
Okay. Şu hangi zamandı? 18.06. Bu neydi? Bu sonrasında. Burada ne diyor? Unuttum.
Yes, there's a car that we share, a
Tamam.
I got in the car and I drove. I just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could.
Doğru.
When I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow.
Glasgow.
I was so tired.
Glasgow. Orada not almam lazım herhalde ya. Glasgow'u aratacağım. Glasgow.
I got in the car and I drove.
Yandan not
I
alacağım.
just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could. When I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow. I was so tired. I just had to sleep. Glasgow.
Yes.
I was so tired. I just had to sleep.
Kendi yazımı tanıyamadım da. Anlas. Ne kadar iyi yazabildiğimi bilmiyorum. Neyse, anyway. Glasgow bir sonraki aratacağımız kelime olacak. Sırayla izliyoruz. Aynı şey. Glasgow'da yapmışlar.
I left the next day, Saturday. I slept for a few hours in the car. When I woke up, I came straight back. Simon wasn't returning my calls and I wanted to try and make up. I got back to the house and Simon wasn't there. And I... Is there a bin?
Çok kötü bir... 27 Haziran. 27 Haziran'da bunları demiş biri.
I
En
pulled
başta
over and slept in the car.
dikkat edemem.
This was just by the side of the road. I was exhausted.
Fıstıktan sonra bu kadar hızlı toparlanmış olamazsın ya. Manyak mısın sen? Murder yazdığımızda ne zaman killer çıkıyordu? 27 Haziran'da. Ne dedi?
You think it's murder?
Ha,
I mean, clearly it's murder.
farkına varıyor 27 Haziran'da.
What can I do to help?
Tamam, 27 Haziran'da farkına varıyor ama öncesi sonrasında farkına vardıktan sonra ne diyor?
Yeah, that's me. But February, and that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder?
Allah Allah. Bu ne? Bu da sonrası.
I didn't murder Simon. You've got it wrong. You've got the wrong person.
Kim öldürdü o zaman?
I'd like to speak to Elraen now.
Tamam, bu kısmı hatırlıyoruz. Umarım siz de herkes hatırlıyoruz. Last call yazacağım. Fuck. Ne elde ettik? Kar dedik. Knife diyelim mi? Bir saniye, bir hint
I got in
aldım.
the car and I drove. I just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could. When I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow.
Glasgow nasıl çıkmaz ya?
I was so tired.
Nasıl çıkmaz?
Left the next day, I was in the car. When I woke up, I came straight back. Simon wasn't returning my calls and I wanted to try and make up. I got back to the house and Simon wasn't there. And
Milim ne yani? Anlayamadım. Anlayamadım. Yok, takıldım ya, bayağı zor yani. Ne? Of.
yes, there's a car that we share, a Cavalier.
Rastgele kelimeler. Ne?
Yes, there's a car that we
Bu ne zaman?
When beautiful people died, we always felt like it was a sign. You remember Princess Grace? Grace Kelly? She died in a car crash the year before we met Simon.
Car crash.
We used a Ouija board to speak to her and that gave us the power to fight.
Tamam, yani bir kaza oluyor. Kazaya
She died in a
karışıyorlar.
car crash the year before we met Simon. We used a Ouija board to speak to her and that gave us the power to find him. That's what we thought then. That people who died tragically leave some kind of magic behind. We used to share dreams. We used to wake up and write them down in our diaries immediately and compare them.
Aynı gün. Devamı konuşmanın. 1 dakikalık bir
Hannah was
konuşma.
so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous.
Anla. Tamam, bir sonrakini bulduk. Şunları izledikten sonra Hanna olayın içinde.
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous. Didn't want to share. Even the first date. We went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went. Kept changing places in the toilet. We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me. But that was it. We didn't want another Carl on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
Enteresan olaylar silsilesi.
It lasted about 6 months. I tried to carry on, but everything was different. Hannah insisted I not pretend to be her around Simon, let alone sleep with him. We didn't share him like the others. The rules had changed. Me living in the attic had become weird in a way it hadn't been before.
Enteresan gidiyor. Hanna yazmış. Zaman.
My name is Hannah. H-A-N-N-A-H. It's palindrome. It reads the same backwards as forwards. It doesn't work if you mirror it though. It's not quite symmetrical, but well, I mean, you get the idea. Sorry. Hannah Smith. I live at 31 Gladstone Street.
Ne? Hannah'yı başka biri sanmıştım. Şey mi bu yoksa? Split gibi birisi mi? Çünkü Hannah'yı başka birinden bahsediyor gibi anlattı. Hamile kalmış muhtemelen. Bence aldırdı hatta. Böyle değişik bir müzik girdi. Çözmeye yakın mıyız? Ne yani anlamadım. Bayağı değişik bir müzik yani. Farklı birisi mi? Bir saniye. Sadece saçını toplamış değil miydi? Değil mi ya? Neyse anlarız. Kaç tane kişiliği var acaba? Bence kesinlikle doğru yoldayız ya.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
Eve dedi. Tamam mı? İsimler önemli. Eve de farklı bir kişi olabilir. Not aldım bu arada. Eve'i öncesinde aratayım sonra bana yapabiliriz. Evet. Ya çok doğru gidiyorum ya. Niye bu kadar iyiyim bu konuda?
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Ne yaptı ki? Nasıl? Bir saniye. Bir şeye bakmam lazım. Geçmişime de bakmam lazım. Aşağı. 07'de Hannah değilmiş. 11.43'te. Yani başka biri gibi anlatıyor. Neyse devam, o kadardan anlamamıza gerek yok ya.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
Bir şeyler gösteriyor. bize. Muhtemelen Simon o. Çözmeye yakın mıyız? Anlamadım.
She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. There was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place.
Ya müzik yükseldi. İyi yazmak istiyorum. Nerede bize yetki verecek acaba? Neyse devam edelim.
Well, my friend Eve. I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
İyiden nefret ediyor.
Yes. We'd fight. We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach, and I held her head under, and I kept it under. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her and watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment. I mean, we made up afterwards. It was a love-hate relationship.
Ya bir kelime aratacağım. Onu kendime yazdım ama size söylemeyeceğim.
A police station. Yeah. When I was young, we ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London, and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off. I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve. So my parents let me off. My mother called me Eve.
Eve de kendisi, tamam mı? Yani sahilde kavga etmişler. Burayı merak ettiğim için aratacağım. Bir tane daha video çıktı. Bakalım hani bu yani ne bilgi verecek. Okay. 2 saniye. Bu videodan sonra eğer bir şey not edersem yazmadan gidip su alacağım.
Nothing else happened that night. We talked, then I said goodbye. Then next week I was singing the bar again, and there he was. And again the next week, he offered to buy me a meal. I told him I had already eaten, and so we got chips and ate them on the beach instead. When we said goodbye, he asked me to kiss him. Romantic.
Yani tam romantik. Hakkında çok bilgi almıştık. Bir tanesini bulalım ya. Bir şeyler yakalamak
Police
için.
station.
Police station. Bulamadık. Böyle bir cheat yapabilir miyim? Şu an ne yaratacağımı bilmiyorum gerçekten ya. İyi bir bilgi olur. İlden önce ne arattık ya? Ne? Boş arattım sadece. Oha. Neyse güzel. Bir su içip geliyorum. Aldım. Yarım saat olmuş ama bitiririz herhalde oyunu, bitiyorsa tabii yani. Dinleyelim bakalım.
A black coffee, thanks. No sugar. Sweet enough as it is.
Şimdi su istemedi. Aman şeker istemedi. Muhtemelen bir karakterinden biri şeker olabilir. Sugar not aldım. Sugar. Yes, please.
My name is Hannah. H-A. Simon Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special work. Mirror making, feature windows, artistic things. Really beautiful things. My name is Hannah. H-A-N-N-A-H. It's palindrome. It reads the same backwards as forwards. Oh, well. I live at 31 Gladstone Street.
Evliler işte. O da evli. Anna Smith, Simon Smith. Okay.
A mobile phone? Yeah. Well, they have one for the glaziers, but it's only for work. I can't remember the number. Oh, it's in the kitchen. I saw it plugged into its charging cradle. Simon is 6 foot, darkish blonde hair, average build. He's clean shaven. If his beard grows, it goes ginger, so he shaves it. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with ginger hair. I bought a photo. They said a spring photo. This was taken last year on holiday in Rome. It's the best one I have.
Yani bu boş aratmak biraz hile gibi geldi ama şey yapalım. Ne yapalım? Böyle yazalım. Evet. Burada Anna Smith'ti ve şeker istemedi. Ne şeker istediği bir karakteri var.
A cup of tea would be good, thanks. Just one sugar.
Dedim size. Dedim.
Just the one sugar. Thanks. Is that camera recording?
Ya çok basit. Ya ben bu konuda çok iyiyim ya.
Black no sugar. Thanks.
Bir saniye, bir tane daha mı karakter var acaba?
A black coffee, thanks. No sugar.
Tamam,
Sweet.
Hana'yı anlayabiliyoruz. Bu şekilde anlıyorlar.
Coffee, I guess. Milk and sugar.
Ne?
A cup of tea would be good, thanks. Just one sugar.
3 karakter var, anladık. 3 karakter var. Bu ne zaman? Biri Hana, biri Eve. Oğlum bildiğin bir şey ya. Oğlum kim uğraşır ya? Gerçek zaman değil. Görebiliyoruz. Başka bir şey yazmış mıyım ya? Önce mi yazmış? Öyle mi yazılıyor? Şimdi tek kelime ay dinleyelim.
What about us?
As.
I guess you could call it that, but we were both happy to get married. It was a beautiful wedding. We had our first dance to come back and stay. I'm not sure if that's a good wedding song, but I loved it. I chose it. I mean, it was genuinely our first dance. We'd never danced together before. It was probably awful to watch, but I enjoyed it. It felt like it was just me and Simon for that moment. Just the two of us. We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby that became. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope.
Oldu mu acaba?
I got a job to contribute, you know. Doug knew someone and I got a job as a dinner lady at the primary school. They said it didn't matter if I could cook or not, just don't poison the kids. So you see, it's always been complicated between me and Simon. It's never just been the two of us, there's always been pressure.
Ay. İyisin daha.
Not really. He would go to the pub. He had his drinking buddies there, but no one ever really came back to the house. Sometimes Eric, his boss, and his wife would come over for dinner. That would be us returning the favour. Diana's a really good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon cooked something off MasterChef, he got the recipe off CFAX, and I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines. I had to find fennel from the supermarket. Into her good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon cooked something off MasterChef.
Erik. Ne? Öyle mi yazdım ben? Ya gerçekten mi? Bakayım. Ben çoğu şey kaçırdık bu yüzden. Neyse.
He was wearing a shirt, with a blue turtleneck shirt and jeans. He has a watch. It's a really nice one. That was a gift from his boss, Eric. He had his coat, a long grey duffel coat, black pants and bear. He would have taken that with him. It's not in the house.
Eric kim acaba?
So, it was Friday evening. We had an argument. He left. On Saturday, he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go help Eric out with something on the Saturday afternoon. They had a job, but he didn't show. So Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at the Rock, that's our local. They said they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since. He still wasn't back this morning. It just isn't like him at all. Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again. So I decided to come and see you. His parents haven't heard anything either. Yes, that would be in his wallet. It's a Visa, a silver one. He doesn't like to spend money he doesn't have, so he usually pays with cash, but Eric convinced him to get one. Well, Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spent a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diye?
Dayan çoktan yazmıştım ama. Böyle şey yaptı ya. İyi.
Diane is really nice. She helps out with the glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there. Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year. It was a wedding anniversary gift. Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste. That time. You must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then.
Saatle alakalı bir şey, evet. Sırayla atacağım aşkı. Yani bu kadar çözmeye yaklaşıyorum ya.
Simon and Eric arguing? No, I can't imagine they'd be arguing. And they get on so well. Unless it was something to do with work. Maybe Simon was being too much of a perfectionist. But I don't know. You should ask Diane.
Ne aratacak? Bakayım ben. Babam aratıyor. Dayan aradık. Visa. Tamam. İzlemişiz zaten. Önemli değilmiş. İsteyelim.
Well, there you go. How many kids?
How many kids? Dedi. Biraz kids'den yürüyelim. Puan diyelim. Birazcık sesler geliyor şu anda.
There's married couple stuff. A stupid argument, nothing specific. No one knows how to push your buttons better than those you're close to.
Vücut sayısı mutfağı muydu?
No, not drugs. I mean, he drinks, but never very much. He goes to the pub and has one or two. Sometimes we go together. He drinks wine with food, but no, he doesn't have any kind of drinking problem.
Aha. Neyse, çok üzerinde durmaya gerek yok. Değilse.
That should eliminate me as a suspect. If I was in Glasgow, can't be in two places at once.
Glasgow'dayım diyor. O yüzden ben değildim diyor. Ama yani Glasgow'da olan başka biri yavrum ya. Ne?
I think when I drove back, it was about 8 or something. And I got back to the house about 3. I think so. I mean, to get into our garden, we'd have to climb through other gardens. All the gardens back onto each other, so you'd have to climb over 1, 2, 3 gardens to get to ours. I mean, did anyone see anything? Did anyone see anyone come and go? An intruder? No, no one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in 3, 4 weeks ago. Someone summoned you from the rock. I think it was that time, the first time at the house, in his bed, that I got pregnant. Amazing, right? This fucking magic sperm. And they say lightning doesn't strike twice, that I got in his bed, that I got pregnant. Amazing, right? This fucking magic sperm. And they say lightning doesn't strike twice. I didn't tell him. I missed 3 periods. I had pretty irregular periods anyway, but 3. I had always thought we were infertile. Both of us. I didn't tell him. Just waited. Hannah and I were meeting for our birthday, and I told her because I thought she would be happy for us both. I think she was.
Germe beni ya.
Like I said before, it was 3, something like that. I walked in, saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room. His throat had been cut.
Ne?
There was a lot of blood.
Ne?
Yeah, he was dead.
Ne? Buradan yürüyeyim ya.
1984 was an awful year in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring and my parents died in the summer.
İşik yapmış.
It was a hot summer, a heat wave. So when they discovered the bodies, it was just awful. Because of the circumstances, them dying together like that, they brought in a lot of police. A forensic entomologist. I had to look that up. It was because of the heat. It's just awful.
Polis yazıyor herhalde.
It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Sam's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby.
Baby yazmak istiyor.
There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff, stuff we never needed and I never had the heart to throw out. I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with the torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed and that's when I called the police.
Her karakteri farklı görmüş yani şeyi. Simon'ın dönüşünü.
When will the police let me back in the house? And they let me take a bag of clothes with me, but
Tamamlanmasını mı istiyor acaba bakalım?
they said it was food poisoning. There was something in the food they ate. My dad liked to pick mushrooms, grow them too. They said it was the mushrooms. It was hard to believe. Death caps. They have a skirt around the cap. My dad taught me that. But, I mean, the police had no reason to think it was suspicious. They lived alone. And no one had any reason to hurt them.
Çok fazla şey not aldım aslında. En son 1, 2, 3, 4 kids yazmışız. Fatih merak ediyorum ya.
It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently. The baby was what mattered. We'd help each other. We cleaned up. We bagged up the broken mirror, her clothes. They're gone. We took him down to the cellar. We knew we had an alibi, and we wanted the body to be found later. We wanted to have suspicion on us so we could then disprove it rather than have it linger. Better to keep the body in the house than risk being seen with it. The watch, that was my touch to make sure the alibi stuck.
Baby yazmış mıydık hatırlamıyorum ya. Yazmamışız.
We spent the wedding night in a hotel in Brighton. It would have been too much to do more. We were saving for the baby. It was wonderful to be in a hotel, away from home, just alone together. Since then, we've always tried to get away for our holiday. No, I lost the baby. I had a miscarriage at 8 months.
8 months.
We carried on living at Simon's parents until But it was only a few months after. Yes. It was a shock to him. I mean, we never thought it was possible. I don't know what he... I mean, I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. I wasn't really ready to talk to him about it.
Böyle boş bir şey. Garden yazmış bana. Bir tane video çıktı.
We loved our cat, Domino. He had this little bell around his neck to stop him from killing birds in the garden. And we used to write each other notes and put them in the bell, and we could send them to each other. Mum found some of the notes once, and she thought I was just writing to myself because our handwriting was identical. And we had our own words for things, so she didn't quite understand them anyway.
Çok önemli bir kişi. Nasıl yazalım bakalım.
I got pregnant. Both our parents had a big powwow. We weren't even in the room. And they decided we should get married.
Okay.
Yes, I'm fine. I won't be sick again. This happened some days. I'm pregnant. It's morning sickness.
Ne şu an hamile değil mi? Kendini hamile mi sanıyor acaba?
No. Well, yes. He found out on my birthday. I told him I was pregnant.
Kendini hamile... Belki de bu düşürmedi. Yani Eve düşürdü, hala düşürmedi. Öyle düşünüyor olabilir.
It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. So she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind. But she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much? When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty. I was driving badly. And I hit a taxi. Not a big crash, just paintwork. The guy was so pissed off because I didn't have a driving license on me. But when I told him I was pregnant, he made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at. There's a scratch on the car. Well, she has a knife. She's been cooking, I guess. She's been cooking him his favourite meal. She's his wife. And he's asleep and she doesn't want to wake him because he's ill. That's why she's sad. Because he's ill and he might die.
Bana kendi fotoğrafını gösteriyorlar yani. Ama kendisi olduğunu anlamıyor. Yani kadar iyi yalan söylemez.
Mother wanted me to grow my hair long, but I kept cutting it myself. I wanted to look like my reflection. She always had short hair when she was little. Mother would hide the scissors, but I would find a way. Cut it with a bread knife, something like that. My reflection would always leave her house and go on adventures, but I never could. Mother taught me at home, and I had books and TV. Oh, TV was magical, but it was only on when it wanted to be, so I spent a lot of time reading books.
Ne aşamaya gelmişiz? Bir şeyler.
At the time they said it was poison, food poisoning. I mean, I felt so guilty. If I'd still been at home, maybe I could have done something. I didn't.
Ambulans. Ambulans gelmedi mi? Ne?
Okay. There's a girl and she's staring out of the window. She's sad. She's trapped. She's here. She's looking out the window because her mother won't let her out. I would have been a good mother. I was young, but I would have been a good mother. She was a girl, by the way, the baby. We were going to call her Sarah. Simon wanted to call her Ava after his nana, but I didn't want her to have a symmetrical name. Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to hear the story? It's a real-life fairy tale.
Bir yazasım geldi ya, notların arasında yoktu.
He has a wallet, a huge silly thing, leather, real leather, I think. He packs it full of stuff, business cards, receipts, lottery tickets. He always carries it in his back pocket. I think that's why he's got a bad back. Offsets the discs. I haven't seen it, so he must have it on him. He always takes it out of his back pocket before, when he comes in, if he's in the house. His body didn't look real. And his throat. It looked like his throat had been cut. And I didn't see his glasses. He has these thick glasses. He doesn't always wear. Sorry. The picture, the way it's drawn, just reminded me of the books we used to read as children. I read those fairy tales over and over, and they were so real to me. Rapunzel was my favourite. My brain is just full of it. Oh, any of these in colour? When I was 8, Mother died. She slipped down the stairs. It was an accident. I had read a diary at that point and I knew she wasn't my real mother. So I burned the diary that day and I left. Walked out and across the street.
Site yazmak istiyorum. Ne? Çok şaşırttı beni. Ara. Böyle bir şeyler öğrenelim. Ne? Bir kere mi söylüyor sadece ismini? Çocuğun hiçbir önemi yok o zaman.
The bruise. I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes. I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you that I haven't already told the other policemen. I found the body.
Bilmem lazım. Aklıma bir şey daha geldi.
Really? Okay. Here's the rest. Oh, they laid a body on the dock to dry. Oh, the wind and the rain. Till a fiddler with a fiddle came walking by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle bow of her long hair. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made a fiddle bow of her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made fiddle pegs of her finger bows. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made fiddle pegs from her finger bows. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle out of her breastbone. Oh, the wind and rain. The sound could pierce a heart of stone. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. But the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Anything you sing may be used as evidence against you. Can you imagine? I tried. I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty ill. I mean, how could we stay the same now? Felt like Hannah had really fucked things up. Set us down separate paths. We had become different. was the worst year of my life. A miscarriage and then my parents.
Arka hatırlıyorum. Annesi.
No cat. My parents had a cat before they died called Domino. It was this little black thing with white dots. And we never did anything about the cat, but if you were thin, you could maybe squeeze through it. Florence was a warm, kind person.
Sorry, Florence.
But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken. Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand, I guess. I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know. Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up, take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion. Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me. No, it was just me and her. It was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week. And what did your wife do? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him. I don't see how it's hard. We've established I was in Glasgow when he was killed. You've spoken with the hospital. Silver leaf? No. He normally silvers them properly. This mirror, it's supposed to look antique. The reflection isn't as good. It's the perfect mirror for someone who doesn't like to look at their own reflection. No. I was 15. Carl was older. 17, I think. I was really into him, regardless of how he actually behaved. Lots of drunken teenage sex. We did it in a church once. Stupid. So he got tired of us and we split up after about 6 months. It was sad, but those early experiences, they help you realise who's really important to you, you know? Family. I mean, what if they were crazy? You hear about these crazy people all the time. I mean, why would anyone who knew Simon want to kill him? Simon isn't the type to run off or do anything crazy. Someone must have done something to him, or there must have been some kind of accident. So what do we do next? Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present, another mirror, just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off. It wasn't the present so much, it was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror, a nice mirror. He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me. The mirror. I can't remember. I put it somewhere safe. Upstairs, I think. I haven't looked at it since. No, he doesn't have any tattoos. He has a scar down here near his stomach, past his hip. Cut himself with some glass. That was before, a long time ago. He looks just like the photo. He's not got his glasses on here though. He takes them off with the camera. But he needs them to see properly, you know. He has to read a newspaper or a menu in a restaurant. Not books so much, or watching TV. He likes TV. Look, on his clothes, that would make sense. He made it by hand. I mean, he brushes the silver onto the glass. It's not how they make mirrors these days. I mean, he made the mirror, and he gave it to me. No, I've had enough coffee for today, thanks. Glass of water. Okay. I've given blood before. Do you need to take that for your records? Nothing like this has ever happened to me before. The blood. It's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Well, fine, considering. I got back into the house today, and that was weird, knowing your people have been there through my things. It's like I've been burgled. I mean, worse, obviously. I don't know. I haven't looked in the cellar yet. They sent a cleaner in. As good as new, he said. But they had to throw some stuff out. Couldn't get the blood out. And I'm still waiting to hear from the coroner so we can get a date set for the funeral. It's going to be a cremation. So, she was sat behind him. She had my wig on. And she'd been there all day. And she had blood on her. And she was in shock. On his throat. How? Was he my first? No need to be so coy. No, he wasn't my first. That would have been Carl. He was a local boy in a band. He was a bit of a shit. But he was sexy. We were 15. family. So Carl fucked off, and then there were other boys here and there, and then Simon. The difference is, she's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze. We used a hairbrush. After that, we took it in turns, though. I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon.
Yani çözdük zaten olayı da hepsini tamamlamamız mı lazım ya?
It's the Rockington Arms, the Rock. It's run by a nice couple, Peter and Susan. There's some other regulars there that Simon likes to drink with, and the barmaid they have in sometimes, Helen. Peter said Simon had been in and had a few drinks. Yes, there's an Amstrad one. No one uses it for very much. There's a printer so you can write letters on it. Simon sometimes plays games, you know, climb the tower, save the princess, that kind of thing. No. I think he spoke to Helen. She said he was upset about her argument, but I'm not sure what else he said. He likes Helen. He likes blondes. Could the hairs have come from somewhere else? I mean, could they... We have a lot of dolls in the attic. There's a Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from there?
Yes. iyi ya. Helal lan. Helal lan size. Her story. Biraz daha oynarım kalsın. Hatta yatayım ben ya. Geceler.